Exciting, thrilling, awesome. Let's take a look.
Oh, what's up, Met fans? Welcome back to Talking Mets with Rob. How is everybody doing on this Wednesday, March 1st, the month where opening day will happen at the end of the month on March 30th? And that video right there was Ronnie Mauricio and his third home run of the spring. This guy is making Mets front office, Mets coaches really think about making this opening day roster. And we talked about this with Brett Baty a couple of times prior to spring opening and when spring just opened, that it seemed more likely that Brett Baty was the talk of the town, was the guy that had the possibility of making this roster and what he would have to do to make this opening day roster. And we talked about it many times. Brett Baty was supposed to be the 2019 Pete Alonso in spring training, where he gave the Mets no choice but to put him on this opening day roster. Brett Baty early on was doing it. Brett Baty's still having a really good spring, but Ronnie Mauricio is having a big spring early on in spring training, and that's something that is hard for a team to turn the other way and say, well, we already have our plan. They might have had their plan and what they wanted and who the guys they were looking at to put on this roster. But if Ronnie Mauricio makes them change their mind, I don't think anybody can be upset at that. I think if if you deserve it, if you prove it, you should be put on the roster. There should be no ifs or buts about it. And there is also the possibility of Ronnie Mauricio, and there's been talks about Baty and Mauricio. There could be possibilities this year and definitely next year that one will be playing left and one will be playing third base. Mauricio could be playing third, Baty could be playing left field by next year and be the starting left fielder and third baseman for our New York Mets. But in regards to this year, we know there's one position spot available that we thought was prime and set up for Brett Baty. But what if it's primed and set up for Ronnie Mauricio because of what Ronnie Mauricio is doing? Not because of the Mets plan, but because of what Ronnie Mauricio is doing and showing what he can do on the biggest stage at the moment in spring training with all eyes. That was all on Brett Baty. That was all on Francisco Alvarez and Mark Vientos. Ronnie Mauricio is basically, everybody has set their attention on him. Everybody wants to see his at-bat. Is Ronnie Mauricio in the lineup today? This is prior to the WBC when guys are still here, that Ronnie Mauricio is getting every start of the spring. If it's at home, if it's a road game, if it's not on TV, or if it is on TV, Ronnie Mauricio is playing every day. And I talked about this with a couple of people when I was at Port St. Lucie not too long ago. We were saying that how big Ronnie Mauricio got just from 2 or 3 years ago. Like, he was a over 6 foot guy he was like an Alex Ramirez. If you haven't seen Alex Ramirez, he's a skinny, lanky, tall guy. That's what Ronnie Mauricio is. Like, if you didn't put the numbers on those guys and the names on the back of their jerseys, and they stand next to each other a few years ago, they look exactly alike. You put those guys together now, Ronnie Mauricio is jacked. And he grew very quickly. And you could see the growth that Ronnie Mauricio has done. And the thing that you can always say that is, I can't say it's an issue with the Mets, or, did they read the progress of Ronnie Mauricio wrong? Because, Cohen was trying to make a splash. The easiest splash that was available at the time was Francisco Lindor, and people, he was trying to make the fans excited. And I get that. But I don't think they really thought that Ronnie Mauricio was going to turn into this type of guy either so quickly or at all. Because when you see a skinny, tall shortstop that is good, but is nothing to go crazy about, we got to remember, Ronnie Mauricio only a couple of years ago was the number one prospect in the Mets system. Now he's number 6. Parada's ahead of him. Ramirez is ahead of him. Baty, Alvarez, all those guys are ahead of him. Yet Ronnie Mauricio, we haven't heard much about Alvarez this spring. Maybe because everybody realizes that he's going to be in the minor leagues to start the season, so nobody's really talking about it. But if Francisco Alvarez was having a spring like Ronnie Mauricio, we would be talking about that more, that the Mets need to find a way to put 3 catchers on the roster because Alvarez is so good. You can DH him every now and then, give him a couple of spot starts here and there. But Alvarez really hasn't performed to the Ronnie Mauricio level. He's not even Brett Baty level yet. And, Brett Baty has had a good spring, but Ronnie Mauricio, all right, it's been a week, but he has been the star of spring training so far. Everywhere around baseball, writers are talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. And he's just jumped so much over the last couple of years. And we got to remember, this is a guy that, was the number one prospect in the Mets system, and now he's number 6. I don't care how good you are. Sometimes that can affect you mentally. Like, wow, I was the jewel of this organization. Now, he's thinking, damn, I'm number 6. And, all you hear is Brett Baty and Francisco Alvarez. You even hear a lot more of Vientos. You hear about Parada, you hear about Jet Williams, you hear about Alex Ramirez. maybe there's a chip on Ronnie Mauricio's shoulder saying, hey, I am the best prospect in this system. And you know what? He might freaking be. And I was never the one to say trade Ronnie Mauricio because he's not good. The reason why I said in the last couple of years that they should have traded Ronnie Mauricio was because the team was on the verge of doing something, especially last year. And when the Mets did everything they could front office wise and trades and free agent signings to block Ronnie Mauricio, it seemed like there was no room for him on the roster. If he continues to perform in spring like he's doing, I'm not saying at this clip, batting well over 400, over a 2,000 OPS, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 5 RBIs, 7 RBIs. Like if he's performing close to that level, like the Pete Alonso 2019 spring, the Mets are not going to have no choice but to find a spot on the roster. I don't care if you got to play him 4 days a week. If you got to give Escobar a day off, you give him a day off. If you want him, if you got to play, give a Francisco early day off in April. Play him at shortstop. Give McNeil, you want to play Canna one, you don't want to play Canna one day, put McNeil to left. And then, you can do a lot of things here to play Ronnie Mauricio a lot. So Ronnie Mauricio was giving the Mets a very hard decision to make because it was all about Brett Baty going into the spring. Brett Baty first, the first home run of the spring, and everybody started to talk about him, and then Ronnie Mauricio just took spring by storm. Away, home, it didn't matter. So it's going to be very interesting to see for the Mets what are they going to do, especially if Baty has a good spring and Ronnie Mauricio is continuing this craziness of what he's doing right now, which, he'll probably come a little bit back to the pack, but who knows if he, this guy can hit 10 home runs in the spring and, who the hell knows, I mean, I don't think anybody would be mad if the Mets say, you know what, we cannot keep Ruff on this roster because Ronnie Mauricio is so good. It's not like Ronnie Mauricio is just a left-hander. He's a switch hitter a lot, but all of his home runs, I believe, have been left-handed. So he hasn't had many opportunities in spring to bat right-handed, but even if you saw him in the Dominican Winter League, he hit a couple of long home runs right-handed as well, so he can do both. So that's something that the Mets have the option. Again, when you get rid of Ruff, you are losing an outfield spot. I know that's Tommy Pham's spot, but you also have to look at the fact that, Nimmo's going to get days off. Nimmo has not played any at all in spring. According to Nimmo and the Mets, they're trying to keep him healthy. I don't know about you guys, but that's a red flag for me. You're trying to keep him healthy. You just gave this guy 8 years, $160 million deal. Like, get his ass out there in spring training. All of a sudden, he's going to not play spring. Last year, he was out there every freaking day for spring training. Oh, but it was a contract year, so, you got to show that you want to be out there. I mean, I just don't get it. And, if Ruff's going to be on this team and either Baty or Mauricio is not on this team because Ruff made the opening day roster, I'm sorry, guys. This guy has arthritis in his wrist in Ruff. This guy is probably deteriorating real quickly. There's no point in keeping Ruff on this roster when Mauricio is doing what he's doing and Baty continues to play well also. So I just don't you just have to see what the Mets are going to do. The Mets have a tough choice. I mean, it might not be tough to us, but sometimes when the team has a plan and, it's kind of the point where it's like, well, if he's not that, if Mauricio had a good spring, but nothing to go crazy about, all right, you could see the Mets say, all right, Mauricio can go to the minors. We'll see what else he can do if he, lights it up in the minor leagues early on. We'll see what we have to do going there. Cause, in April, you have the opportunity to be like, all right, you know what? Ruff hasn't done nothing. All right, let's get rid of him. Ruff is your right-handed bat along with Tommy Pham as the DH spot and platoon situation, wherever you want to put him, right? But if Mauricio is going to continue to hit like this, you have to find spots for him. He's a switch hitter. He gives you multiple options in the infield. He can DH. it's going to be hard for the Mets if he continues. I don't think he has to continue at this path. I think he already shown what he can do. But again, it is the first week of spring. He is hitting home runs off of guys who are probably never going to be in the major leagues. Let's see a little bit later in spring when the major leaguers start to pitch a little bit more and he's facing major league pitching. Can he continue this? Because if he does this when major league pitchers, starters, and relievers that are going to make the major league team pitch every day a little later in March, and he's continuing this, then we're really going to see if Ronnie Mauricio just a product of him hitting, subpar minor leaguers, or is he hitting guys that are definitely going to make the major league roster, and he's going to continue this path? Because Pete Alonso did that, right? In 2019, when Pete Alonso was lighting it up early on, everybody's like, all right, let's relax a little bit. He's hitting guys that are probably never going to make the majors. Let's see what he can do. He continued throughout spring training all the way until the end of it, and he gave Brody Manwagner and the Mets front office no choice but to bring him up for 2019. Mauricio is doing that at that moment. We'll see. Exactly, Ken, 100%. We will see because, everybody can look like a star the first week of spring facing guys that are basically after they finish pitching an inning, they go to the backfields to do some stretching, right? So, that's something that, you don't want to look too much into yet, but it is something that you have to be aware of with Ronnie Mauricio because he has been playing well, extremely well. I mean, over a 2,000 OPS, over 400 batting average, 3 home runs already, near 10 RBIs. He's been hitting well, really good. But let's see 2 weeks from now when there's guys that are making the major leagues that are going to be facing him every single day that are major league pitchers. Then we will see guys that are just to his type of swing. There's not really much of a gap in his swing. He doesn't have a huge uppercut. He does stay level. Even when he doesn't hit a home run, he stays level on balls. That's something that I love to see against a hitter because that means he can also hit for average as well. And he cut down on his strikeouts. He did it last year in the minors. Cut down is something that the Mets were really worried about was his strikeout rate. He cut down on that last year. In the Dominican Winter League, he cut down on that. And now he's figuring out ways to get on base as well, even when he doesn't hit a home run. That's a huge deal. So, again, we will see. Again, all the signs, the trades, the free agent signings, the extensions, all hindered and blocked Ronnie Mauricio from coming to the major leagues, right? The Lindor trade, the Lindor extension, the McNeil extension, signing Escobar last year, right? All those, the experiment or lack thereof of him playing the outfield, right? That was the first thing I thought of. I was like, hey, put him in left field. Let's just see what happens, right? Apparently, when I was in spring training a couple of years ago, right when they, when I saw Ronnie Mauricio in the backfields taking fly balls, he did not look good. All right, he stumbled. He wasn't quick to the ball. It's a big difference from catching a pop-up in the infield and, reading the bat off the ball in the outfield. It's a huge difference. The ball comes a lot quicker at you on a line drive. Balls that are, extremely high up in the air. It's not easy to do that when you're an infield. And when you're an infield, it comes right up above you. It takes a backspin. When it's a pop-up in the infield, it's a little different from a pop-up to the outfield. The wind, and you gotta read the ball off the bat. It's a huge difference. So I don't think they're going to put him in the outfield. I think that he's good enough to play the infield, any infield position, second, third, or short. I think you do that. Let's not mess with this kid who is a guy is looking like a potential star. Don't mess with him, all right? They did that with Daniel Murphy. They did it with Lucas Duda. Bad experiments, and then it ended up being Murphy at second, Lucas Duda at first. Don't mess with these guys, all right? You don't want to put them on a path to have mental issues that, oh God, I can't play this position. This is where they want me to play, or I'm not going to make the majors. Got to be careful with that. And even Dom Smith, exactly. We don't need that issue. Don't put a guy out of position just because you want his bat in the lineup, because all it's going to do is hurt you in the outfield that this guy can't catch routine fly balls. He can catch routine fly balls probably, but when there's, a ball in the gap or a ball down the line, something that an average outfielder can get to, and Ronnie Mauricio can, he's going to hurt you defensively. It does not matter. Jay, listen, I understand that, but he's not going to play second base. It's either going to be shortstop or it's going to be third base. And there's been a lot of speculation over the last couple of days that there is a very, very high possibility that Brett Baty will be the everyday left fielder next year, along with Ronnie Mauricio playing third base. You got to remember, guys, Escobar in Canada, the contracts end after this year. You got two guys. Now, I don't think they're trading Baty. But again, what if Shohei Ohtani at the trade deadline becomes available? Ronnie Mauricio is going to be at the center of that trade package. I'm telling you guys right now, if you don't put Mauricio in that trade package, you're not going to get him. Not saying that Mauricio Ohtani is going to be available. We don't know that. The Angels could be in playoff position, even in a wild card. We don't know. But if the possibility comes up, Mauricio's going to be a big part of that package. And I've said this over and over again. It's not that Mauricio is not going to be good. I think even if he's a really good player and not an all-star player, I think he's going to be at least very good. But if he even, that has nothing to do with it. It's just the moves that the Mets made over the last 2 to 3 years that blocked Ronnie Mauricio. That is something that you have to think and continue to think that they're using him they're holding him for a big trade if it comes up. I think you can bring him up and still use him in a big trade if needed. But if he comes up, if the Mets decide to bring him up on opening day and put him on the roster and he performs and he helps his team win, it's going to be very hard to trade him. So it's very interesting. But you know what? I can't blame the Mets for trying to get better at a position when they really didn't know that this kid is going to take a humongous jump to what he has. Because Ronnie Mauricio, if you look at his stats, they don't jump off the table over the last couple of years, except for last year and, this winter where all the eyes started to turn on him. He was good, but he wasn't great. There's a reason why he was the number one prospect 3 years ago, and now he's number 6. Like, he wasn't performing to the Mets' expectations, and there's a reason why he dropped to 6. I mean, there's 5 guys ahead of him. Again, he could be the best player out of all of them. We don't know that. It looks like it at the moment, but you have to look at it that way. And I do think the Mets were just trying to get better at the big league level. You can't help that prospect you draft jumped over him. It's not the Mets' fault, right? Baty, started to become a star in the minors. Vientos was above Mauricio for a little bit. So it kind of is very interesting that the Mets did all these things. But again, with the new ownership change and, the Mets were really irrelevant. They couldn't make the playoffs. Cohen was trying to change that around quickly, right? He's saying he wants to develop the farm system and also win at the big league level. No, Ken, I agree he's young. I agree. But all the moves the Mets made was telling you that they're not necessarily 100% on agreement that this kid was going to be good. You got to remember, Lindor was what, 3 years ago now? Right? That trade? Like, Ronnie Mauricio was the number 1 overall prospect at that time. And, we were like, why are we getting a shortstop? Right? We were a little shocked at that, but nobody was going to complain that we got Francisco Lindor. Like, Mauricio was not even a thought of at the major league level, at least for 2 years. And once again, right, then they get Escobar for 2 years at third base. We know McNeil. It's like, every move they made, McNeil, he was up a couple of years ago, what are you going to do? He performed well. You're not going to move him or trade him just because Mauricio is ready to go, right? And now you got the extension with Mauricio, with McNeil. You got Lindor for 10 years. You have Baty, who was ahead of Mauricio at third base. So the only position you had available is left field, right? And now Nimmo's there for 8 years. So left field is the only option. But I'm telling you, I saw Mauricio on the backfield. He does not look comfortable in the outfield. And I don't want to mess up this kid's head because we need his bat in the lineup. Throw him in left field and pray he catches a ball. You can't do that with a team that has aspirations for a World Series. You can't play around with that, right? When the Braves bring up young guys, they actually play that position or at least play the outfield or play the infield. You can't just we experimented too many times. Dom Smith, Lucas Duda, Daniel Murphy. How many more times are we going to put infielders in the outfield because we need the bat in the lineup? It doesn't work. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work. His best asset is him being an infielder, wherever that may be. And again, maybe the Mets are having second thoughts now. But again, if there's a big trade that can put this team over the top, and that's what they need at the moment, what if that could be a possibility? Would you not trade Ronnie Mauricio if Ohtani is available and that's the one guy they want in the package? And everybody else is, they can, the Mets can, move around what they can put in the package, but the Angels want Mauricio. What are you going to do? You're not going to trade for Ohtani because Mauricio had a good spring? Mike, that's what I said when I was at spring training over the weekend. That's exactly the guy that he reminded me of. He's not as big as Yordan Alvarez. He might be at some point. But he could be. Again, let's not put him at that level yet. He's projected to be that. He looks like that because his swing is very similar. He's as tall as him. He's not as big yet. He's getting there. But let's not put him at that level yet because Alvarez is, Jordani Alvarez is that guy. He's an all-star. He's that good. Let's not put him there yet. I don't think that's fair for Alvarez. And to put that on Mauricio, he projects, yes, because he looks like that. His swing, the way he's built, yes. So, but can he be that? But he also has to make the team. It's irrelevant if he doesn't make the team. Because I'm telling I talked to Grant through Messenger about this. We talked about it when, Grant said, hey, did you see the Mauricio home run on Twitter? Yes, I did. And we talked about it. If he has a Pete Alonso spring where he's just dominating spring training from beginning to end, like Pete Alonso did, and the Mets don't bring him up, the Mets just gave you your answer. Right? If he has a spring like Pete Alonso, and Pete Alonso gave the Mets no choice but to bring him up in 2019. If Mauricio does the same thing or similar throughout beginning to end of spring training, and the Mets don't put him on the opening day roster, they just told you that this guy is more of a trade bait than a guy that they see as a future in the Mets organization. That's just a fact. You can, if there's a guy that can help your team, your major league team, right away to start the season, and you don't do it, and there's a guy that is useless on the roster that Mauricio can easily replace, then they gave you your answer. And you know what? Listen, if Mauricio has this type of spring that he's looking like he's having, again, if he stays at this level, I don't think the Mets have a choice. But, if he comes down to earth a little bit, but still really good, and Darren Ruff is on this team, and Mauricio's starting the year in the minors, Met fans are going to be pissed. And it's going to be interesting. Very interesting. Because I do believe there's one spot available on the roster, position player-wise, and everybody talked about Baty being that option. But what if the Mets say, you know what? Ruff with the arthritis, we can't trust Ruff to do some damage offensively. Let's DFA Ruff and add that extra roster spot for Ronnie Mauricio. The only thing that Mauricio probably can't do is play outfield, corner outfield like Ruff can. Not saying Ruff's an all-star outfielder, but he can play outfield. I guess you can just say, all right, Tommy Pham, you're our guy. You're our utility outfielder that can play left, right, and center. And that's what you're going to do. And then Mauricio is going to be, another Luis Guillorme. He's going to be the option. He could he could be the right-handed DH. He can spot start here, spot start there. Him and Baty can play a lot of games. If the Mets feel comfortable, if there's a tough right-hander on the mound, you can sit Can and play left field, Baty at left field. If you want to give Escobar a day off, Mauricio can play third base. The thing I worry about is if the Mets going to give Mauricio and Baty enough playing time every week to have them to make it worth it to bring them up. That's the problem. Because if you're going to bring Baty and Mauricio up and you're going to stick with Canner and Escobar and Vogel back at DH every single day, and Mauricio and Baty is going to play once, maybe twice a week, what are you going to expect from these guys? These guys are used to playing every day. They have a rhythm. When you sit them down for 4 days and then the fifth day say, hey, Mauricio, you're up. Baty, you're up. What do you expect from these guys? I don't care how good you are. It's not easy being cold for 4 days and coming up and say, okay, perform. They have to play at least 3 or 4 days a week. And Buck is going to have to do that. And that's something that we're going to have to wait and see. Again, it's early on. It's a week in spring training. Let's not go overboard. It's been fun to see Baty and Mauricio basically being the stars of spring training. And the big disappointment at the moment is Francisco Alvarez. And I've said this over and over again, guys. Now, I don't know if this is Francisco Alvarez being upset that the Mets already said he's going to start in the minors, or is this a guy that is struggling defensively enough where it's affecting his offensive stats? I don't know. But I'm very curious because Alvarez has been disappointed this spring. And again, this could be the fact that he knows he's going down to the minors and he's like, the hell with this. What do I have to prove when I know I'm going to be in the minor leagues? He could be hitting the way Mauricio's hitting. The Mets are probably not going to bring him up. And, that can get to you mentally, especially as a young kid. We'll see. But before we get a little bit further, let's just say what up to everybody. We got 54 in the chat right now. Everybody say what's up. Don't be shy. We got 29 days until opening day in Miami. I'll be there with many Met fans. If you follow the 7-Line account, he showed the outing shirts for opening day. It says Queens South. Great saying for the perfect spot that we are. It's going to be a Miami Connect. Like it's going to be similar to what the Miami Heat wore, like Miami Vice type colors. So the very, very light blue with the pink Queen South on it. So it's going to be a different type of shirt for an outing. Usually it's orange like I'm wearing here. This is a Loyal over Royal, the Kansas City trip. It's either orange or blue. He's going with the Miami Vice type of look, the Miami feel to it. So you're going to see a lot of light blues in the audience in the stands that day. So that is something that you're going to have to, it's going to be different, but I think it's perfect for that Miami vibe. He was going to go with the royal blue or the orange, but he thought to go more Miami feel to it, and that's what he's going to do. Again, I don't have no hats that match. I'm just going to go with something that is closely matching the Mets. Got to wear some orange and blue there. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be cool. So Queen South is the same for the 7-Line Army outing, and I think that fits very, very well. As you know, Port St. Lucie, if you've been there lately, it has signs all over the place that says City Field South, which is perfect for, obviously, South Florida with Port St. Lucie, City Field. You get it. We get it. So let's just say what up to everybody. We got Ken, we got Grant and Sean, a member of Talking Mets and Rob. What's up, guys? And don't be alarmed, guys. And if you're members that are not just listening to the stream and you can't chat or type in the chat, just so you guys know, I am working on custom emojis for the start of the 2023 season for the members. We're gonna do some cool Senga ones. I'm gonna do like put a ghost there and put Senga on the bottom, or depending on how it's gonna fit, I'm gonna probably put the ghost there in Mets colors to put as like the ghost pitch for Senga. I'm gonna put the Senga head. I'm gonna put the Verlander head. I'm gonna put some other cool things to put together. I am also gonna put a couple of sounds like calls of the game, like the Gary Cohen sounds like it's out of here. He shook him out. All that fun stuff. Silly Keith Hernandez saying like good fundies. And I don't know if Ron Dolan has any really cool things to say, but I'll find something to put something there as well. So during the game, you can, if there's a home run, you'll hear Gary Cohen, of course. But of course, you put a little sound in there. If there's a good defensive play, do like the good fundies saying that Keith Hernandez does, all that fun stuff. I am still working on my intro to start a stream that, the 2022 one is still up right now, but I am working on it. I'm doing different videos and little short clips of Citi Field, the 7 train, and all that fun stuff to have the vibe of Queens and Citi Field and Mets as a whole, the Seavich statue in front of Citi Field and all that fun stuff. So I'm working on that. It takes time to put together, but I will have that by opening day for sure. So let's keep on going to see who's here. We got Ted. How you doing? We got President. What's up? We got Joe and the Lockout, as always, 2.0. We got Michael Page. Who else we got here? We have, I know I saw a couple of, there we go. Rocky. We got Michael Page. Oh, we said that. Sorry. Fire Blazing. We got Jay. Geraldo, how you doing, buddy? All right, who else we got here? I know we got some more people. I saw it earlier. Let's see. Dylan, how you doing? Explosive, how you doing? Lendog. Mike Lowe, how you doing? Don't worry, guys. I'm going down the line. Don't worry. Roberto, a member of Talking Mets and Rob, how you doing? Roberto, I'm going to leave that take on there. I like that comment that you put. I'm just checking to see if anybody else is here. I don't want to miss anybody. Joel C, how you doing? And Jace, how you doing? All right, so Roberto puts a member of Talking Mets and Rob. By the way, if Mauricio comes north, he can be used as a DH. He's playing great, and he should come north with the Mets. I agree. Alan, how you doing? And yeah, I agree with you. I think he can be the right-handed DH because he's a switch hitter. I think you can find at least 3 days a week, maybe 4, to put him in a lineup, right? Is that going to take at-bats away from Escobar and Canada? Yes. But, I do think Escobar is going to be better than last year. I don't know if you guys heard about Escobar, but he was going through a nasty divorce almost throughout the season. And according to a lot of reports, that right when Escobar started to really pick it up during the season, which was very, very late August, that was when the nasty divorce is finally finalized. And I guess that took a lot off his mind, and he could just play baseball. So again, I know you're supposed to be professional, but things in your life can alter the way you play sometimes. And I believe he has children with his ex-wife, and it was nasty. I don't know if it was like joint custody or whatever it was. It was nasty. So, that can mess up people. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. When you got children involved, it's probably not easy. And yes, he's a professional. He's got to do his job, but it took a toll on him. And when Escobar is a happy-go-lucky guy and, he couldn't be happy at that moment, maybe it just affected him. I don't know. But I think Escobar is going to be better this year. But yeah, I agree, Roberto. Absolutely. I think you can use Mauricio as the DH. You can play him at second. You can play him at short. You can play him at third. Marte is still, we don't know where Marte is at this point. He hasn't played in a live game yet. So, will he be ready? I think the Mets are going to take it easy with Marte. McNeil can go to right. You can always throw Mauricio to second base. That's a possibility. He played second base a lot in the Dominican Winter League. So there's options where Mauricio can play every day, along with Baty. Baty can play third and left. You got options there as well. I just hope the Mets don't make a stupid decision in keeping one of those guys down because they want to keep a veteran on the roster like Ruff. That's not going to make a lot of people happy. I know Billy Epler, some of these GMs, they want to just be right on everything. But sometimes you just got to, bite the bullet, say he made a mistake, with the arthritis in his wrist. If Ruff is not the same player that they thought he was going to be because of this arthritis in his wrist, then just get rid of him. It is what it is. GMs make mistakes. No GM is perfect. We understand that. But don't continue to make that mistake and keep this guy on the roster and keep it one of the guys that should be on this roster in the minors because you want to be right. Because in the first week or two of the season, if Ruff is batting under 100, somebody's going to be looking for a head to be chopped off, and that is Billy Epler. So I do think Darren Ruff, his days is numbered. Again, he hasn't been playing either. So, it's just the point is like, look, the guy's hurt. What are you going to do? He's not as good as they thought he was going to be against left-handers. Too bad. You got a guy, again, Ronnie Mauricio hasn't shown much right-handed in spring at all. So it really is to look at, because, I've seen him hit home runs in the Dominican Winter League right-handed. So he has power right-handed as well. But he's a natural left-hander. You can just tell by his swing, just by the way, the confidence level left-handed when he takes that swing. And the ball flies off his bat, and it's loud. Again, I was at spring training. You guys know that. The intra-squad game, you just hear the crack of the bat. Like, it's a different type of sound. And when, like the Pete Alonso, when Pete Alonso hits a ball, especially in 2019, you hear the difference in the smack of the bat. You just hear it. You can tell the difference. Again, that doesn't automatically mean he's going to be a really good player. We don't know. Again, if Ronnie Mauricio is continuing to perform, not at this level, I think it's sometimes impossible to have him at this level. But if he's close enough where he's still having a really good spring, and it's against these pitchers that are going to be in the majors, and he continues at least close to the path that he is on right now, guess what? Then the Mets are not going to have no choice. But the Mets better make the right decision, because if Mauricio has a Pete Alonso 2019 performance in spring training, and he doesn't make the team on opening day, and Darren Ruff does, that's going to be a problem for Met fans. Don't mess around. You got to stop messing around with this team. If they're good enough, bring them on this roster. If they don't perform well in the first month, that's why you have options with these guys. You can bring them down, saying, all right, you're not ready yet. You looked ready. You're not ready. Bring them down. There's somebody else in the minors that you can bring up. That's it. That's the way I see it. All right. So, and yeah, Grant, exactly. Escobar does have a club option for the third year in 2024. Again, I doubt they'll pick that up. Again, they might pick that up from $9 million. It's very cheap. And say, hey, Escobar, listen, we'll pick you up for $9 million. You're probably going to be a bench player. You'll play every now and then, but Baty and Mauricio are going to be the guys. I think Escobar would do that. He's getting up there in age. Sorry, got it. The sunburn is just everywhere. Like, my neck got burnt, my arms, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but yeah, it's like, whoo, look at that. Sean, what's up, buddy? That would be a huge mistake. He's gone enough to be here and get. No, Sean, he hasn't yet. Like, I want to make this clear to everybody. Just because you have a good week in spring, when you're facing guys who are never going to make the majors and are always going to be in the minor leagues, and guys that are basically playing scrimmage games in the backfield, and because I don't remember the pitchers he hit home runs off of. But it's not guys that are probably going to be in the major leagues. Like, again, let's wait in the middle of March when he's facing major league pitching consistently, relievers, starters throughout the entire game. If he continues to hit these guys, and I'm not saying hit over 400, but hits 350 in spring. He has 7 home runs in spring. And it's throughout spring, and he's continuing to look good against major league pitching on a consistent basis. Then we can say, okay, there is no doubt this guy's going to make the team. And listen, Mets fans, media, put a ton of pressure on the Mets to bring up Pete Alonso on opening day in 2019. That there's going to be the same amount of pressure if Mauricio has an extremely good spring throughout spring training. There's going to be pressure from fans and media to bring up Ronnie Mauricio and keep him on a roster, or at least bring him up opening day. Again, there's one spot available at the moment that we know is all ready to go for Brett Baty, unless he had a terrible spring. Brett Baty, is having a good spring, but Mauricio's having a better spring, and he's the talk of the town right now. But that can change in a week. Again, we'll see. But let's not jump to major conclusions yet, because we all have a tendency of doing that, and that's I include myself in that. As you guys know, I always include myself with all you guys because I'm not better than you guys, and I always say that to you guys. I always include all of us. I'm one of them as well. Don't count chickens before you hatch, all right? We do that enough, and 9 out of 10 times we're either right or wrong. So, but we just never know, right? We don't want to jump to conclusions because the guy had a great week. Doesn't mean in March 20th, his average can be under 3, could be 250. We just have to wait and see. Again, winning the MVP Dominican Winter League, it's cool. It's really good. It's a very good league, but it's still not Major League Baseball. All right. So again, in the middle of March is when you see major league starters, major league relievers pitching on a consistent basis. When slowly but surely they weed out the minor leaguers and they take them off the roster, and the major leaguers are playing every day. Let's see if he can consistently, not saying he has to hit 400, but consistently looking extremely good. And he's been looking good defensively. I know it is hard to see on the social media broadcast for the intra squad game, but Mauricio made a hell of a play. It was a jam shot that was going over Escobar's head, and Mauricio closeout speed was tremendous going down the line in short left field and making that catch with ease. That was nice to see in person. That was pretty cool. So he's got the speed, he's got the ability, but defensively, I'm not worried about him. But let's see him do it on a consistent basis when he's consistently facing starters that are being in the major leagues and relievers that are going to be in the major leagues, not guys that are fringe major leaguers or minor leaguers that he's hitting off of right now. Because even guys that can hit those guys are not always major leaguers. Let's just see. Let's take it easy. It's nice to see so far. But on March 20th, if he's still raking, now we can have a legit conversation of, wow, this guy should be making the roster. And we'll see about that. We'll definitely see. So let's just keep on looking at the comments really quick. Yeah, but again, I agree. But, the first homer was, the first day or two of the season of spring. Like, that's a guy that was probably not throwing as hard as he can on March 30th, right? Grant, I get it. Look, we can be excited about Ronnie Mauricio, but we have to temper it down a little bit because, we have to be careful because we do this enough, right? And we don't want to be disappointed because that 429 average right now at the end of the spring could be 250. And then, we're back to like, okay, well, he's good, but he's still not there yet. Yeah, see, that's where Yamit, I wanted to make sure that that is an option for the Mets. Because could the Mets say, all right, listen, we're not going to bring you up right away. You're going to be down in the minors. Baty, left field, Mauricio, third base for at least 2 weeks. Make sure you get everything ready to go. Make sure you guys feel comfortable in those positions. We know you guys can hit. Let's give you 2 weeks. And what that also does is keep an extra year of control for those guys. I know that it don't matter with Steve Cohen, but it does matter if these guys become stars because you would want that extra year. The bad thing about Pete Alonso was that we lost that extra year for bringing it up right away in 2019. Again, nobody's complaining about it at the moment, but how nice it would have been if Pete Alonso had another year of control instead of only 2, right? But again, that might be an option. You might keep him down for 2 weeks and say, play third, play left, perform. We'll have you up in middle of April. And then you keep another year of control. You could still manipulate that. It's not always the right thing to do, with morality and everything like that. But let's be honest. I'll do it. Why not? 2 weeks is not going to make or break the season. All right. We can have a really good 2 weeks of the season without those two guys as well, especially if the pitching is going to be what we think it's going to be if it remains healthy. And speaking of the pitching, this is why I kept it to last. This weekend, the top 3 in our rotation, Scherzer, Verlander, Senga, are all pitching back to back to back this weekend. So I'm going to be extremely busy this rest of the week. This weekend, I'm going to try to get one of those spring training games in. I'm going to look at the schedule when they post when these guys are going to pitch. I would like to do a Verlander start, but again, it depends on which one's going to be because they only televise the home games. So I'm hoping to get one of that home game live stream so we can get in the groove of doing live streams during games. So people who are new subscribers that are only subscribers from the off season can see how I do things during the live streams and how it looks, get the visual, get the audio and the sounds of it and everything like that. Once again, if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen what I do during live streams, I have another screen up. I'm in the corner. The big screen is, the MLB game day, where you see the stats, you see the batter, the pitcher, the pitch count, the score, all that fun stuff that you can see on the regular. But I also put the S&Y sound as the audio. So that's something that we can definitely guys can check out. I like to do it a couple of games during the spring so you guys have a feel for it and understand how I do things here. And I am trying my best to do at least 4 games per week. I want to do 5, but again, you guys know my work schedule. I'm trying to do 4 guaranteed. I might do 1 day, skip a day, 1 day, skip a day. So at least every day you can expect a stream. Some days I'll do back to back. Sunday into Monday is usually perfect. I could do Sunday and Monday games because Monday I'm off. So Sunday day or night game. Again, I'm going to work on my boy Mike that I was trying to do the Shea Bridge show. Again, he got a new job. So the schedule just didn't work out. We set this up a couple of weeks before the new job happened. So it was kind of like, what are you going to do? You're not going to take money out of somebody's pocket, right? So again, I'm going to keep that Shea Bridge show. It might be, Hayden to fill in. Mikey will pop up every now and then. I'll get other people to pop in as well. So that is something that I will be doing because there's going to be a lot of Sunday day games. Of course, Sunday night games, we'll do that live stream for sure. But if there's a day game on Sunday, I'll definitely do the show on Sunday night just to, I'll do it a little later since, if there's a game at 1, with the pitch clock, the game might be over by 3:30. You never know. But, give a couple of hours until that bridge show as well. So, once again, Verlander, Scherzer, Senga, this weekend, All three are going to be pitching back to back to back. Probably not the same game. They're probably going to start. I'm assuming it's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So whatever game is going to be at home televised, maybe two. I'm not sure what games. Let me just check really quick. All right, hold on. Mets spring training schedule. All right, let's see. All right, March 3rd is Friday. They are home on the Friday, and they're home. That's it. So Saturday and Sunday, they're playing in the Marlins facility away and Cardinals facility away. So the Friday game is at home. I'm going to try to do the Friday game because whoever's pitching that day, it will be televised. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do Friday night, Friday afternoon, I should say, 1 o'clock. I'll try to do my best with that game. So there you go. So Friday, I'll probably do the live stream for the Mets game at 1:10. Probably not do a pregame because I am coming from work, so I'll start at like 10 minutes before the game and stuff like that. Whoever's going to be the starter, I don't think they have announced who's starting that game yet. Let's see. Yeah, they haven't said anything yet. So probably tomorrow we'll find out who's going to start on Friday, either Scherzer, Verlander, or Senga. So Friday is Scherzer. Yeah, I thought so because it lines up with his 5th day. So Scherzer will be starting on Friday against the Nationals. So at 1:10. So I'll do a live stream there. I'll set it up tomorrow, and we'll be ready to go. So again, they're not going to televise. Maybe because I'm very interested in Senga. It's only going to be like 2 innings anyway. So maybe I'll just do the radio call for Sunday's game. We'll see. Tomorrow, I don't know. To be honest with you, that's a good question. Let me see. Hold on. Tomorrow. Yes, it will be televised. They're playing the Braves tomorrow at 1:10. The reason why is because they're home. So Thursday and Friday they're home. So both games will be televised. I don't know who's pitching tomorrow. Let me see. Hold on. Let me check. Go to my handy dandy MLB app. Let's see who's pitching tomorrow. All right, Carrasco's pitching tomorrow, and they got Scherzer on Friday, which Grant said. Yes. All right. So Carrasco tomorrow and Scherzer on Friday. So Carrasco's going to be getting his first start tomorrow, so that's going to be good. So Ron and Gary got the call on Thursday and Friday, and that's good. So there you go. If you don't have SNY, I know that sucks. So yeah, SNY tomorrow and Friday for Carrasco. Tomorrow against the Braves, 1:10. And Friday against the Nationals, 1:10. Scherzer on the mound. Friday, 1:10. I will do a stream for you guys during that. It might not be the full game. I think it will be, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, we get to see a couple of guys. You know, the Mauricios, the Batys of the world, and all that fun stuff. So yes. So Friday, 1:10. Nats, Mets, Port St. Lucie, Scherzer on the mound. There you go. Yes, MLB.TV is airing all the games through the app right now. If you got T-Mobile, they should be doing the MLB free that you can watch the games, of course, minus the blackouts. But yeah, so T-Mobile is still doing that, I believe, and I think it's a few days before opening day. If you got T-Mobile, you can actually do the T-Mobile Tuesday, and you get the MLB games for free as long as it's not blacked out. All right. I'm just rechecking everybody's comments really quick. So Senga is on most likely Sunday, yes. And Verlander will be on Saturday. Both games are going to be on the road, so it's not going to be televised. But I assume social media accounts will probably have a couple of videos during that games as well, because the TV broadcast does not travel except for home games, obviously. Yeah, Grant, exactly. I look, like I said, I was down on T-Mobile a couple of years ago, but ever since they've been doing that MLB free subscription, I'm all for it. Like, roll that right into my. Yeah, you get the VPN, you get everything. You don't have to worry about no blackouts or anything like that. because you can change your location with the VPN, which is always Grant, how much? I'm not trying to get into the business, but how much do you spend on your VPN, and which one is it? I'm curious, because I do have one for my laptop, but I'm gonna be streaming a couple of times this year as well. So I just want to make sure I got a good VPN as well. I'm curious. If you don't mind, if you don't want to say it on here, you can message it to me, and then I'll let people know via email and stuff. NordVPN. Oh, okay. NordVPN. Did you pay for that? I'm just curious. Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, and you download it through your smart TV and stuff like that, right? Or Fire Stick or whatever you need to do. Well, you know what, President? The VPNs, they really got like really good like protections. Most VPNs. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out, Grant. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. All right, well, you know what? I'm gonna look into that. I'm actually gonna search that right now because I got a different. So there's people. Let's see. I got a lot of messages from people. I apologize if I didn't get to your messages yet because I do get a lot of emails from people. Again, I message Grant a lot. I know Sean texts me a lot as well. So I do get a lot of messages. And if I don't get back to you right away, I apologize. I do get a lot of messages since I put my email, my channel email out there. Yeah, Ken, probably. Super Baby, yes. I believe T-Mobile is doing that again. If you have T-Mobile, you're good. Ken, shush. Ken, you are my email buddy. But don't worry, I will be texting you. When the season starts, I will be texting you more because my email is flooded. Not just with emails from you, it's just everybody. Like I miss a lot of emails because there's a ton of people email me about the fantasy, which I'm trying to do. Again, I don't have a lot of time, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I don't want to be like an ass and say, oh, I don't respond to you. I get a lot of emails, but I'm trying to do the fantasy league for the channel. It's probably going to be like a $25 buy-in. I know people emailed me. I feel bad that I haven't got back to everybody, but I get about 100 emails a day, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. Sean, no, you don't. Sean, was that you texting me? I don't know if that was you or somebody else. There's so many people like Sean. I don't know which one. Let me just make sure. Hold on. Maybe that's not you. That's another Sean. See, again, there's so many people. Okay. There's so many people texting me. I'm not going to lie. I get about 15 texts and emails a day, maybe more, from people from the channel. They're just asking questions. Like, that's like... And yes, I know the people email me about the fantasy league, the $25 buy-in. I think there's like 5 people right now that want to join. If you want to join, I'm going to type my email right now. For the channel, that's my email right now. Oh, Ken, if I don't like to be popular. I don't know if I am, but there was people that noticed me at spring training, so it was kind of like, it's still awkward to me, to be honest. Like, people are like, oh, I know you. I'm like, oh, have I seen you at a Met game? No, from the channel. I'm like, oh, right. Paul, if it gets leaked, I just block people. If people are going to be stupid, to be honest with you. Like, it's not like I can't block you. Block the number or anything like that, so. Alan, no. Shh. Don't get me in trouble. No. It's mostly just subscribers that are asking about the fantasy and just random questions about the Mets, like nothing crazy, like, oh, are you going to this game? You know what, I really wish, I don't know who it is, I forgot his name, I feel so bad, but he bought a ticket to a Citi Field game, a game at Citi Field against the Rays. It's really good seats. He bought the ticket and sent it to me because he wants to sit with me at a game, which is awesome. I totally forgot who it was. It was like October when he bought the ticket, or November. whenever it was. I totally forgot. If you're watching right now or you're in the chat, please tell me it's you. I totally forgot. I feel really bad, but there's hundreds of people that text me and email me and talk to me. So, and I'm terrible with names. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel bad. That's why when you guys know my face, I really don't know any of your faces. Some of you guys I do, but most I don't. If I pass you at a game, it's not because I'm being a jerk. I just don't know what you look like. Like, please come up to me, tell me who you are. I'll if you say, "Oh, I'm 0910 president," I'll know who you are. Then I have a better idea. You saw me on one of the highlight videos, really? I was there. Oh, was that from the 7 line highlight video? Groupies. Rocky, I don't know if I'm famous. I'm not the type of person like, oh yeah, I'm famous. No. I'm just like all of you guys. I'm fans. That's it. Yeah. So again, President, listen, if you guys see me at Citi Field or any road game, just come up, spring training. Just come up to me. I don't care. Yeah, throw a hot dog, I mean, if you're at Philly, it's kind of common. So all right, guys. So we're gonna end this in a second or two, but it was a good conversation. But yeah, guys, don't be. I'm trying to do the. I think Grant, you said you were cool with the fantasy, right? The $25 buy-in and all that fun stuff. I just want to make sure because I think Grant, you said yes. I think a couple of people that emailed me as well. I think it was Fuego who also emailed me as well. A couple other people. But if you want to, it's a $25 buy-in because people. I noticed when I did the channel fantasy, what was it 2 years ago or 2021? When it wasn't money involved, people started to just stop like changing their roster, and it was like blowout wins for some people. So at least with the money league, people will be a little bit more involved throughout the entire season, right? I think if there's 10 of us, so if there's $25 buy-in is 10 of us, it's a $250 prize, right? Not a lot of money, but it's something, right? $250 might help somebody. You never know, right? So I'll probably do like first place and second place, but again, I mean, if it's first place $250 prize, it's like, yeah, it's like, I'm not gonna like split up the prizes if it's only $250, right? But if it's like 20 people, it's a big difference, right? That's a $500 prize. Maybe we'll have 2 winners, right? The first place prize will get 400, the second place will get 100, something like that. But if it's only 10 people, it's going to be one prize for the winner, $250. I think that's fair. Since it's not like it's like $1,000 buy-in or $100 buy-in. That's a different story. So all right. So I typed my email there. It's just metsfan813@gmail.com. Email me if you want to join the fantasy league. I'll let you know in the next 2 weeks if there's going to be a league or not, because I don't want to be half-assing it, especially if it's a money league. I don't want to be, it's going to be a normal league. It's not going to be nothing crazy. It's going to be waiver wires and trades and all that stuff. Nothing crazy. It's going to be a normal league that is a $25 buy-in, and we'll be there. That's it. All right. So people are already emailing me. Okay. That was quick. All right. Who is this? Okay. Okay. All right. So people are emailing me. All right. Cool. All right, guys. So we're going to end it right now. So once again, guys, look out for this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be Scherzer on Friday. I'm assuming Verlander on Saturday, Sanger on Sunday. So we got the big three: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, 1:10 Mets Nationals at Port St. Lucie. Scherzer on the mound. I'll do a live stream for that game, and we'll be ready to go with that. So tomorrow probably won't be a Mets talk or anything like that. If anything big happens, like Mauricio has another big game, I'll do a YouTube short about it, and you'll catch me there. and that's where we go from there. So Friday, 1:10, Mets Nationals spring training, first live stream of the year right here on the channel. So if you're new to the channel, please show up and say what's up just to check out what we do during a live stream during a Mets game. So everybody have a great night. Ronnie Mauricio, another home run. Let's see if he can continue this throughout the spring. Carlos Carrasco pitches tomorrow against the Braves. That will be televised on SNY, as well as Friday with the Scherzer start. So everybody have a great night. As always, let's go Mets. See you next time, guys. Good night.
You'll find a Mets fan. Let's go. This is a Mets cheer for all your Mets here.